What up, racer? ItsJerone here, and we're here for Apex Online Racing, the third round of the season, and we're here for the Sochi GP. Now, I know some of you might already be wondering why are we racing here at Sochi due to the whole geopolitical situation, and basically the board of AOR has decided to let this race continue, but instead of calling it the Russian GP, we'll call it the Sochi GP, and basically, we can run the Ukrainian flag if we want to show our support for Ukraine. So, yeah, that's basically the reasoning behind this. And, yeah, let's actually get racing and stop talking about political discussions. Also, the Russian flag from this season overview has been removed. It's a blank flag now. Now, as you can hear, I'm talking in the background. And that's also because I thought this race would be boring. But in the end, it really wasn't. It's like one of the most exciting wet weather races I've ever experienced so far on this game. So stay around, you definitely miss a lot of action if you don't. Now, you could see in the standings a couple of seconds ago, I'm still leading the championship by 3 points out of Guiggs, who managed to win the last race, which was also a wet race. And yeah, fairly similar, dry qualifying here and a wet race. So I basically did the same thing as last week. I just took my dry setup, added +2 wings to the front end and 1 click on the rear wing, and just pray it works basically. Now we're heading into the best lap of qualifying now, and something I have to say as well, I forgot to record the party audio as well. I was in contact with my teammate. That's a lesson for myself. Next time I'll also make sure I record the party audio. Now, as you can see, we're currently in a P4 and we're looking to improve on our lap here, and so far we're doing quite well because we're up by about 2.5 tenths as we head into the middle sector now. That was a little bit slow on that apex, not great, but overall still managing to find a little bit of time throughout the middle sector here. But then unfortunately, coming onto this back straight here, I just make a massive mistake and I basically lose all the time I'd gained. It's about 3.5 tenths I lost through that corner. So we're now a tenth down on our delta and we'll have to try and absolutely send it through the final sector down to third gear. Stay in third for this left-hander. Try to get on the power as early as possible, then a very difficult chicane. Don't overcook it, but try to be as aggressive as possible. And just once again another inside curb where I make a mistake, and that's just a lap over, really. So, I'm really disappointed with myself. I feel I could have done quite a bit better there. I think that was quite an easy P3 if I didn't make any mistakes in that lap. But, yeah, that's what you get for making mistakes.
Time definitely would have been good enough for P3. But oh well, that's what you get when you make mistakes.
Yup, as I reiterate myself there. Now, we're going into the race, and as you can see...
Interesting, I've never seen this thunderstorm icon before.
A thunderstorm icon. Like, I've never seen this.
Didn't even properly calculate how much I would need in drive. That's like 1.4, quickly thinking. For me, at least.
So we were just discussing the fuel amount here. Really annoying that I didn't manage to record my teammate's audio as well. Then you would have understood the proper conversations here. But anyways, it's Guiggs on pole, then it's Gaps in second place, Pasty in third, Mika in fourth, who's been promoted from F2, then Spreader P5, myself in P6, my teammate in P7, and we're underway as we have a really good start, but I didn't dare to stick it down the inside there. That most likely would have resulted in damage as Pedro and Mika make a bit of contact here as we're braking for the first proper turn. And you can see we're getting a corner cut warning, and crap. I know, I just got onto the power
on the inside
a little bit too early, and yeah, I was not expecting the car to go that easily, but unfortunately it did, and it means we're now in last place of the race, which is definitely not the start I was hoping for after a relatively poor qualifying.
This race is far from over,
and well, at least there's one little positive to take out of this. Since my qualifying wasn't that good,
crash.
I at least don't lose that many positions by spinning out at the start. But we've already gained 2 positions back by a couple of people
Yeah, I
spinning.
don't have any damage. Only ego damage.
As I say there, only ego damage. No physical damage on the car, fortunately, otherwise I really would have been in a terrible situation. But most likely this race won't go without any safety cars.
So horrible in a way.
And on top of that, we'll have to make a switch to intermediate tires later on in the race. So I think plenty of opportunities will open up towards the end of the race, as we currently have yellow flags.
Oh dear, not you.
And that's for my teammate, who I believe hit the rear of Bankai there. So unfortunate for her, but she dropped back quite a couple of positions here, as we're now heading on to the end of lap 2, and we've definitely caught up to the rest of the pack here, as we're now actually being held up again by this, well, relatively slower drivers you find down the order of the field. So we're currently behind the Ferrari of Hasnain, trying to take some alternative lines, try to carry a bit more speed onto the main straight, but a bit of a trend you may notice throughout this whole race.
Visibility is terrible again.
Visibility is terrible indeed, but also the fact that I'm really poor on getting onto the power. And yeah, just trying to make my car big in the mirrors here, try to put Hasnain offline a little bit to force something. And it actually worked a little bit here into that first braking zone. So we're gonna try it around the outside of turn 4, but then we just wash away.
You just understeer away.
Yeah, but just washed away with understeer there. Couldn't really do anything, but we'll have to keep up the pressure here. Are we gonna go down the inside? No, I just decide to back off here. Because, well, you just don't really know where everyone is going to brake in these conditions. Now, heading to the end of the back straight, and you can see my teammate is sending it down the inside here, as I was stuck behind Hasnain a little bit. Moment of oversteer on that curb there, and it does mean my teammate actually managed to pull off the move on me here. And yeah, I was struggling in these conditions.
I'm not feeling confident at all in these conditions. Oh.
As I'm not entirely sure what happened to Hasnain. I think he overcooked that chicane and he just decided to rejoin the track in a safe way rather than risking anything. So, fair play. And yeah, we're still just very far down the field and points are not very likely at this point in the race. But you can see my teammate's definitely on a roll here. She was feeling really confident in these conditions. Also very good on the brakes. Now going down the inside of Tash, the move I was planning to make. But then...
Oh no!
Okay, clear. Drop your speed. Our delta is too low and will risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
You may have caused a safety car there.
Yeah, that was not the greatest overtake in the end by my teammate.
I'm just gonna stay out, just like last week. It just doesn't make sense to box.
I think she just underestimated the fact that Tash was still there. So the Williams got collected in the process, but fortunately both are still in the race. Of course, they had to come into the pit lane and replace their wings, as we're going really slow here under these safety car conditions, as we're about to restart the race here. Now, the fact that you don't have full control over your throttle is just really, yeah, it's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's not like in real life you get traction control over your car when there's a safety car restart, but you can see
tires just cooled down so much during that little period.
Somebody came into the pit lane there. That was Andre Ivan, so not entirely sure what happened to him, but he must have picked up some damage somewhere throughout that safety car period, as we're now into the points. We're in P10 behind Cronexus and No Mercy, as in the meanwhile I believe it's still Guiggs and Pasty in P1 and P2, so my championship rivals currently are in the top 2. So we need to make some moves quickly in order to salvage something from this race. So far the comeback drive has been, well, a bit mediocre. I didn't really make any proper overtakes on track, but I did benefit from the fact that some others made mistakes, as we're now trying to put a bit of pressure on Crow, just driving alternative lines and trying to see whether I can force something. Now the good thing is, here around Sochi, at least you have more overtaking opportunities than last week around Australia, where there was just actually no overtaking opportunity at all. But at least around this track you can just take some alternative lines to put people under pressure, as I'm not entirely sure what Crow is doing here, but it's definitely slowing down quite a lot, and we're actually quite close to his rear wing at this point. And are we gonna go down the inside for a move? No, we're gonna go around the outside, and we're gonna try to make it work. We're definitely side by side with Crow, and we do have the corner. But as you can see,
Still there.
he just has the better traction coming out of that corner. And then heading into the final chicane, we're going to keep our car on the inside here. He runs off track, and as you can see, he rejoins the track in a, well, relatively dangerous way. And in hindsight, I didn't think much of it at the time, but I really do think that this is leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
Side by side with Crow there.
And a little bit like disappointed with myself for the fact that I didn't, well, not disappointed, but yeah, in hindsight, looking at this, I feel I should have reported him for going off track and gaining an advantage. Because, well, you see in a couple of moments, he just gets more distance between me by the time he rejoins the track. So, probably should have sent that one up for the stewards. But, yeah, as I said, I didn't do that. Something else I discussed with Crow after the race as well was the fact that he was moving off track
time you're within 4 tenths,
relatively often
impossible.
and didn't get any warnings for it. And yeah, we sort of came to the conclusion that in wet weather you don't really gain that much, and I do think I kind of agree with him. Now we had a bit of a random virtual safety car there, and I actually think that was due to that thunderstorm icon, because I honestly don't know what else the safety or the virtual safety car could have been for. And I've heard from others who had that as well, that having a thunderstorm icon always caused a safety car or a virtual safety car, so I think that was what that virtual safety car was for. As we're now onto lap 10 and we're in P10 in the race, and we're still behind Crow and No Mercy.
Just trying to see where I could try to get past Crow, but yeah, it's just horrible.
As Crow once again here drives off track a little bit, and yeah, as I said, I don't think he's gaining any time with this, also not really losing.
What's Crow doing?
But yeah, you can see here I was a bit confused what Crow was doing, but I think he was just making a couple of mistakes in a row here. But yeah, it's just so hard to benefit.
Just not confident enough on power to get good exits and be close enough for a proper dive.
Exactly that, I'm just not confident enough at this point in the race to get on the power early enough. I think it did get a little bit better towards the end of the race, but still not optimal.
Okay, 3.5 tenths, come on.
As we're trying to line up a move on Crow here. When we're within 3 tenths, it means we're possibly close enough for a dive. I do feel like I'm stronger on the brake than Crow, but once again also here coming into turn 2, I was just too far away and couldn't really make anything work. As you can see now, somebody's clocking fastest lap of the race, and I do believe this driver currently is on a set of intermediate tires, so the crossover is coming closer.
What? 3 seconds? This is my first warning, man. Wait, what? Am I stupid? I swear that was my first warning. Everyone was just running wide at that corner as well, and I bet they weren't getting any warnings for that.
So yeah, I'm getting a bit annoyed here by the fact they're just running off track every single time. And I can confirm that was not my first warning, because I got 2 warnings for spinning at the start for cutting that inside curb. So yeah, this 3 seconds is not really realistic. I think I only have 1 actual warning at this point.
I do believe the inters are quite goated on this game.
The radar suggests that this heavy rain will be with us for a while now. Full wets seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
Jeff's still talking about full wets being the fastest.
As Jeff is still talking about full wets being the fastest, but I was in communication with my teammate here.
Actually thinking about it, I think I got a warning on lap 1 where I spun.
Indeed, I got a warning on lap 1, and you can see yellow flag up ahead.
Oh, I think Pedro lost his wing.
And Pedro indeed did have a bit of damage.
Can't see shit.
So we're in a bit of an awkward situation here, because the car in front of us has damage, and we're trying to find our way around it here, as Crow didn't really send it around the outside there. So we're going to try and go down his inside, but we'll turn to the outside for the next corner, and he leaves us the space, but we decide to go for another cutback, try and get on the power as early as possible, and unfortunately I'm just in the wrong lane here. As you can see, Pedro cut in front of me, and now Crow managed to get past Pedro, whereas I couldn't. So
oh my god, it's all kicking off here.
Indeed, it's all kicking off due to Pedro picking up a little bit of damage here. And in the meanwhile, we have another situation as well, where we're going to try and go down the inside, but nothing really working here. As I'm actually trying to say, we have another situation going on, because the intermediates are getting faster at this point. And yeah, Jeff was telling us wets or inters are faster at this point, so it really is getting interesting here. as we're also adjusting our front wing to 10 instead of 11 for the intermediate stint, as we're now right on the back of Pedro, and you can just see we're bleeding time here. So we're gonna set up the exit here and try to blaze past him, but I think I was running relatively high wings and just couldn't out-drag Pedro here, so we're gonna have to do it on the brakes heading into turn 2. We're choosing the outside line, braking a lot later than Pedro, and we're making the corner, leaving him enough space on the inside. And that's the move done for P9 in the race, with a 3-second time penalty, which will get removed most likely towards the end of the race, if we manage to keep it clean, of course. Now you can see my teammate FLX Ralph there, putting up the fastest lap of the race on
And
Inters.
finally a bit of clear air. Literally went 9/10 faster whilst making an overtake and making a mistake in the lap as well.
So you can see I finally had some clear air, and I thought it would be a good idea to just use that clear air for a little bit and then come in for a set of inters.
No, Crow made a mistake.
Now you can see here, Crow managed to get the overtake on No Mercy done on that previous lap, and we're trying it around the outside there actually, but nothing really worked there. And I wish I had come into the pit lane on this lap, but for some reason I just decided to stay out. I don't really know why, because inters were definitely faster at this point in the race. And yeah, I really don't understand why I decided to stay out here. I definitely should have come in for inters, because when Jeff says inters or wets are equally quick, then it just means inters are way faster.
Okay, it's definitely not vehicle condition. He says inters should be easier. Don't know why I got that information whilst asking about vehicle condition, but sure, that's indeed the info I wanted.
So we're either going to come into the pit lane this lap.
Oh, and now he says we should stay on this tire a bit longer. What?
Jeff also couldn't make up his mind here, as No Mercy was making a bit of a mistake there coming out of that corner. So we're gonna try and set him up for this back straight here. And you can just see once again I'm just not confident enough on the traction, and we're just relatively far back behind No Mercy. And
oh crap,
tried to put him offline there, and it actually worked, although I also made a mistake myself, because we're now going around the outside of No Mercy, trying to pick off the McLaren driver here, and he actually backs out, I think.
Yep,
so got the move done. We're up to P8 in the race,
stay out for one more lap
as
then.
I believe in the meanwhile Pasty has also come into the pit lane for a set of intermediate tires. Now, end of lap 16, finally Crow and myself are making the call to come into the pit lane for inters. Now, I was a bit annoyed with the fact that Crow pitted with me, because I felt like I was faster than Crow. And yeah, I guess that's what you get for not pitting on the end of lap 14 or 15. Okay. Well, 15 I wanted to make sure I could choose a clean air.
What's Jeff saying?
Heavy rain will be staying with us for a while now, at least a 20-minute window of heavy rain. Inters and wets will probably have similar pace at the moment.
Similar pace, but that usually means that inters are way faster.
Indeed, inters are way faster at this point, as my teammate once again pulls up a fastest lap of the race.
Yes, it does.
So quite clearly, inters are working better than wets in these conditions, and we're gaining time hand over fist at this point. But you can just see...
No, Tash. Oh, for f***'s sake. No, now everyone can box.
Really, really unfortunate moment for the safety car to come out, as Tash puts it into the wall there.
Okay, Delta's gone. Go, 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 go.
Yeah, this just helps all the drivers who decided to stay out on wets.
Bunch of lucky buggers.
Because we were like 2-3 seconds a lap quicker, and I felt like we could have caught the whole train.
As well. Then it's Guiggs in P2 right now on inters.
So, race overview, Guiggs leading, then it was Gaps in second,
spun.
But he spun under safety car conditions.
Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing for me. It's just impossible to get any heat to your rears.
I do think it was a good thing, because I gained another position, obviously. But I was hoping for some chaos from the wet runners.
Oh, somebody
because quite clearly on inters we're like 2 seconds a lap faster at this point, so...
What the f*** are we doing?
A really weird safety car restart again.
What the hell, mate?
And yeah, I love my live reactions here. Just, yeah, losing my mind a bit here over what was happening under the safety car, but coming out of that final chicane, really, you just couldn't
What
get
the
any
hell was this
power.
restart,
So
man?
that's just why it screws up all those restarts. But we're now up into P7 in this race, and we're on the inters now. And we do have a little bit more wear on the inters than, for instance, Solid and
Okay, that was a
Bankai in
bit
front of us.
too much.
But it's not that much, I believe it's only like 3%, so it
Well,
shouldn't,
at least my tires are up to temps with that lockup.
shouldn't be too bad, as I tried to force a move down the inside of Crow there. But it didn't really work out, as we're actually hitting the back of him here. Because, well, at this point it's Sneaky Ninja who's just holding up this train in front of us. So we were going really, really slowly in that chicane. And you can now see Solid is making an attempt to get past Sneaky around the outside. And you can just tell this is the difference between wets and intermediate tires. As we're now trying to get past Solid, no, not Solid, Sneaky Ninja as well. So difficult with all these ninjas, come on guys. Get some original usernames. But we're just a bit stuck behind Crow here, so we can't really optimize the depth of the corner really. But we do manage to get the move done, and I think on that exit Sneaky actually made quite a significant mistake, so Mika and Pedro could follow me as...
I just hate how everyone's running wide every single time and they're not getting any warnings for it.
You could definitely tell frustration was running a little bit high here, because I was just expecting Crow and others to get warnings for running off track so often. But now you can see another safety car's been called out, and that's because the Williams of,
What
I
on
think,
earth? What
Gabs
happened here?
has put it into the wall now. So
Why is there a
both
safety
Williams
car this
are out
late?
of the race, and yeah, a bit
Still
annoying
one proper
that
warning.
we have yet another safety car, because, well, I feel like I would have preferred more race laps to try and overtake Crow and Ninja, rather than the whole field bunching up. But on the other hand, this may provide opportunities as well.
Oh my god, why are we this slow here? Come on guys.
Yeah, not entirely sure why we were that slow. I believe Pasty was a bit slow on that exit, and Bankai actually picked
Why are
up
we
damage
just
there
standing
by
still?
running into the back of Pasty.
What the f is Solid doing? Oh, okay, now I see why. Because you can't get any traction due to it. Okay. What? Bankai's in?
So yeah, this is just what happens under those new safety car regulations,
Come on.
at least in the game. It's just ridiculous, the fact that you can't get on the power there coming out of that corner. So that's what's caused all the havoc, as we're trying to send it down the inside Crow one more
Forced
time.
Crow into a bit of a mistake.
And we're gonna try and get a cutback heading into this chicane, but this time I'm just not close enough to do anything. I really wish I converted on that one move I tried to make, but in the end I didn't pick up any additional warnings after getting my time penalty. And we come across the line in P6, but no, actually in P5, but we drop down to P6 due to the 3-second time penalty. I'm not entirely sure whether it will get removed or not, but most likely it will. It's just a bit ridiculous if I get a penalty for that. I'm just gonna say it here, I believe I finished the race in P5 as we're going through the race director right now. Really interesting wet race. I made it interesting myself by spinning at the start, which is of course not the optimal way to go about it. Unfortunately, this means that Guiggs has gained 15 points on me, and Pasty has gained, 8 points on me, so it does mean I'll have to do a lot of work the upcoming races, and Guiggs is now the new championship leader, so hopefully I can strike back in Imola. And also, if you did enjoy this video, then leaving a like would be massively appreciated, and subscribing to the channel if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any league racing content, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye!